Yeah, thank you very much, Kendall. Very good morning once again if you've just joined us. Now, recently there was a buzz on social media following the image of a young chemical engineering graduate who took to the streets with a placard in hopes of getting noticed by a business recruiter. Well, she got lucky. With a tough economic landscape, shrinking job market, global retrenchments and heightened competition, it goes without saying that graduates are battling to find a job anywhere in the world right now. I'm joined from our Pretoria studios this morning by the Senior Branch Manager at Network Recruitment, Marna Thompson. Very good morning to you, Marna. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Evan.
Marna, it's tough out there at the moment, but it's not impossible to get into the job market, is it?
Absolutely not. I think it has to do with the approach that you take. Alarming rate of our unemployment at the moment, about 600,000 graduates without a job. I think that's very alarming for anybody. The fact is, I think you have to consider what is the demand out there in the industry. You have to consider what is the career that is best to follow. So I think there's a lot of pressure on our students when they are at school level to already choose their subjects to embark on a career. So for instance, if you look at accountants, lawyers, doctors, even engineers, they have some of the lowest unemployment rates in South Africa. Considering a degree in social sciences, even arts and music, the likelihood of finding a position is actually becoming more and more difficult. So I think it would be looking at where is your passion, navigating through that and aligning yourself with what is happening out in the industry and where are you more likely to find a career and find a job and to build your career based on that. If I only look at about 51% of our placements for the last year, the age group was between about 30 and 39 years old. So there is a smaller demand for graduates, but the exciting news is in the recruitment space that we are working in, about 20% more graduates found employment based on last year's figures. So I think that's very exciting.
Do we have enough internships or apprenticeship programs going, and are those programs of a high enough standard?
I definitely think so. I think one of the aspects to consider is obviously to look at not just focusing on some of the largest organizations within the country, because so many graduates come to us trying to get into internships, trying to enter into the job market. And most of them have the notion of only looking at your big well-known brands, big large organizations in South Africa. The smaller to medium-sized enterprises are actually also a nice target market to consider, and some of them are offering internships only on a lower scale. So I think you have to broaden your horizon in terms of expectations where you are going to look for internships, but definitely.
Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier that graduates are battling to get in, and the group that's doing much better is 30 to 39. Is there a scenario that there's lacking within our university structures that maybe our students don't come up prepared to walk straight into the job market?
Yes, I think what needs to happen is obviously the way that you approach the whole job search. Like I said, a lot of companies work on a structure of internal recruitment, teams of internal recruitment specialists, where it's a very automated system where you send your CV to and how you apply for any positions. So I think the discussion should be about what do you do while you're at varsity, while you are studying? How do you prepare yourself to enter in the job market? It's not about long gone are the days that you can just study a degree and hope or that guarantees you a position. I think you have to look at the grades, you have to look at your marks that you're getting in your degree, as well as how are you building your network within a specific industry, within a specific area of specialization. How are you obtaining holiday work? How are you obtaining even volunteer work, sometimes even unpaid volunteer work, just to get the experience, to make the transition between varsity and studying a bit easier to come into the job market.
Now, Marna, I see that all junior job requirements have a graduate plus 2 years experience. And that kind of ties in with what you're saying, is that while you're studying or you know, during your spare time, you should really be working part-time to get that experience.
Absolutely, absolutely, because as much as people or employers look at your qualification, look at your skill set, look at your experience, I think there's a whole other discussion about what habits and what characteristics are you bringing to the job market. So for you to give you the best chance possible to step into the job market or to be able to be picked up, you know, in the job market, is to gain that experience somewhere else, is to go knock on doors, try and gain experience, even if it's just literally over a weekend working in someone's office, to understand the, you know, the difficulty or the technicality around you know, transitioning the theory into more practical experience, and to understand the pressures and understand the challenges in that environment. I would absolutely suggest people, you know, to look at that.
Now, Marna, we've moved from the 4-page CV that was yesterday to the polished up LinkedIn profile that we see today. How has the game changed, and how are employers looking at these different tools?
Well, ultimately, like I said, Eben, it's not just about the skills and the experience that you're bringing to the table. You have to understand, as an employee of within a specific firm, I mean, everything comes to work, your whole personality, your whole private life. So I would definitely urge people to look at their social reputation, to look at people, to look at your personal branding. Because from a recruitment perspective, whenever our employers want to hire good candidates or want to hire candidates, that's one of the aspects that we look at, is we go onto Facebook, you go onto Twitter, you go onto Instagram to see, you know, the people that they surround them with, the activities that they get involved in. So it's absolutely looking at the whole characteristics that you bring to the party. You know, are you going to be accountable? Are you going to be the person that takes responsibility? Are you going to be the person that's going to go the extra mile? And it's not just, you're not just in it for yourself, but also for the greater good of the company. So yes, definitely look at your LinkedIn profile. It has to be professional. It has to be speaking of what it is that you've done during your studies, even the volunteer work, even the extra, you know, extra work that you've done. So I think it's very important to look at that.
So the days of the dodgy semi-naked selfies and those are out. You should avoid those at all costs.
Absolutely, it can do your reputation so much more damage in the long run, from just a nice wild weekend to actually you're not finding a job, you're not able to secure a job because of, you know, what people might think of you. So I think that's very important to consider.
Marna, thank you for joining us. It's certainly a sobering thought to know that everything that you do is monitored and in the public profile out there. Marna says that don't put semi-nude pictures of yourself on any social media site, because after your professional CV and your LinkedIn profile, maybe that's the next port of call for all employers. So, better to stand at the traffic light with a sign that says, I'm qualified, and please give me a job. It works. There you have that picture, iconic picture here in South Africa. We can report that this lovely lady, I think she was approached by Sasol, if I remember correctly. She was by Sasol, and now she's doing an internship program, I'm sure, with them. What a wonderful story. So don't put naked pictures of yourself. All social media platforms are broadcast platforms. So you're broadcasting your own brand to the world, and that's maybe not what you want to do. Let's change gears now. As we draw closer to the end of Africa,